If your child has a Gemini moon or a Sagittarius moon, this one's for you. Just here to offer some insight, some perspective, maybe make some little suggestions to help you show up for them in the way that their moon sign suggests they would really benefit from. Keep in mind, we always look at the entire birth chart to really get the full picture. So you're going to want to look at the house placement that the moon is in, any aspects of the moon, along with any other signs they have in their chart. And let's start off with the Gemini moon. This baby needs to feel heard. This baby needs to know that they can communicate with you and have a conversation with you when they need to. There's a real childlike spirit to Gemini, and that's something that I think is never really supposed to go away. They're drawn to the sparkly thing. They want to explore things from multiple angles. This is a child who might prefer to be able to have a deep and meaningful conversation with you over getting a hug when they need comfort. This is the child who is driven by their curiosity and needs to feel as though that curiosity is supported and safe. This is also probably the child that is going to incessantly ask, but why? But why? But why? And it's important as much as we can to not shut that down. Now, at the same time, we've got to be on the lookout for the fact that the Gemini moon might not be as comfortable feeling feelings. They might want to intellectualize them, spending a lot of time in the mind, not as much time into the felt and somatic experience within the body. When they inevitably have a day or a moment that brings up really intense emotions, this might be especially uncomfortable for them. They don't want to feel trapped in a heavy feeling. They don't want to feel like they don't have access to that curiosity and that whimsy that drives them. And they certainly don't want to feel trapped in a feeling without knowing that they can trust you to understand them, or at least try to understand them. So supporting their communication skills when and how you can, but doing so in a way that also helps them take into account the emotional experiences. And if you're ever having a moment where they're absolutely driving you crazy with the why, please just remember that this is how they establish safety. But then we've got a fun little balance to find, because these children can also be very overstimulated very easily. So we want to find healthy outlets for all this energy. These kids might really like puzzles. They might really like writing or tinkering around with little gadgets. Using their mind is something that really does help them. But we don't want it to be scattered. We don't want it to be frivolous and kind of manic. So we want to just help build the skills to be able to communicate about where they're at and find the little tools or strategies that are most appropriate given the situation. And remember that above all else, these children establish and find emotional safety by being able to communicate, play, and really roam around within the cerebral spaces. And that's okay, because we can find the balance. Sagittarius moon, my own personal moon sign. Above all else, the Sagittarius Moon Child needs to feel free to connect to excitement and optimism. We don't want to feel trapped. We don't want to feel limited or stuck. There is this infinitely expansive inner curiosity, somewhat similar but also different to Gemini, that drives us from the inside out. Sagittarius is in search of belief in meaning. Sagittarius doesn't want to be told what to do, what to believe, or who to be. And similar to Gemini, Sagittarius moons might be the ones asking those questions why, but they're also going to be the ones that are kind of determined to go and learn for themselves. To an extent, I think we need to let them do that. Because the second a Sagittarius moon feels trapped or stuck, that's when they would rather metaphorically set something on fire than sit still in that. The trick is also going to be in recognizing when the Sagittarius moon might be moving and exploring the world in flight from something. Because honestly, we're also going to probably be the last to know. All we know is I want to go over here and over there, and I want to jump onto this thing and this new topic. And we don't realize that what started this whole manic approach to learning more was an uncomfortable feeling that we'd rather just not sit with and dwell on. I think this child also needs to understand that if they do have a sad day, or they're having a day where they're not connected to something meaningful, first of all, that feeling is not going to last forever. And second of all, that it's okay. Even in the most challenging of situations, the Sagittarius moon's optimism is one of the most resilient qualities about them. They are not going to stay down for long. Let this child feel free and autonomous as much as you can. If you try to get into a little wrestling match with them over their independence and autonomy, good luck. It might work in the moment, but it's not going to work in the long term. If you don't allow the Sagittarius moon child to feel free and safe being themselves when they're kids, they're certainly not going to stick around for that feeling when they're grown. Establish clear boundaries for them that not only honor your experience as the parent, but also their experience as the freedom-seeking little wild child. Help them direct all of this big, buoyant, Jupiterian energy into something that sparks their curiosity, into something that makes meaning. Help them get to those places on their own. And above all else, let them feel free. Let them feel excited. Let them explore. And you get to reap the rewards of this undying optimist. Love you all.